Hello everyone. Welcome to Manika IAS. Let us start our discussion with respect to daily news analysis. But let's first see the topic that we'll be discussing today. So these are the topic that we'll be discussing today. One is with reference to 10th schedule, since we have been following the issue with respect to the Maharashtra disqualification case. In this regard, we'll discuss the details of 10th schedule today. Then National Center for Disease Control survey. Along with this survey, we'll also be discussing antibiotic resistance, antimicrobial resistance. Then we'll discuss light emitting diodes, and this is a very small information with respect to your preliminary exam about this Jaishal Adi group. Now let's see the very first topic, which is your 10th schedule. So we have been following the issue with respect to Maharashtra. We have discussed in the previous videos with respect to details of the issue. So the latest update with respect to the issue is that the speaker has decided that it will not disqualify the the two-third members, like the 40 MLAs who, along with the Eknath Shinde, who left the party, and because it says that it is the party which is the real Shiv Sena, it recognized the faction of Eknath Shinde as the real Shiv Sena, as a result of which it will not disqualify the party. Along with that, it also said that it will not disqualify the other 16 members of the Uddhav Thackeray faction. So that's a little political thing. Now we'll move towards the conceptual part, which is your 10th schedule, which is important for your preliminary exam as well as your mains exam under GS paper 2 polity. See, first of all, we'll understand the origin of 10th schedule. कहाँ से आया? Okay. What happened after we saw a very strong government during the 1950s, but in coming to 1960s and 1917, what we started seeing a pattern of people leaving their political parties and going and joining the other political parties. So at that time, a phrase called "Ayaram Gayaram" also became famous, and we saw that many of the people were leaving their political party and they were joining the other parties. It happened in many states, say for example Goa and other states as well. So as a result of which the government figure out that there is a need of some sort of anti-defection law which will act as a deterrent for people in case they want to leave the party, and it will bring some political stability. Okay, so as a result of which, under 57th Constitutional Amendment Act, anti-defection law was introduced in 10th schedule in 1985. It was in 1985 that the 10th schedule was put in place. Now let's see the provisions of the act. See, one thing that must come in your mind at this point of time is, what if people are living, they are free to choose. People can leave and they can join the other political party. So what is the harm? Like, what is the issue in that? See, the issue is, one, as we have discussed, it will lead to political instability. Political instability. Why? Because the majorities will keep on changing in favor of one party or the other. So you will not have a stable government that can take some policy decisions. And say, for example, there are 10 members of a political group who say we are not aligning by your decision. So they will simply leave the group, and as a result of which, it will lead to a policy paralysis, because you lack a strong government in that regard. Another and the most important issue with which will arise will be defying the mandate of people. Defying mandate of people. See, what happened is, India is a democratic country. People elect their representative in form of MLAs or MPs. Now, if you are selecting the MLAs or MP on the basis of their ideologies, the political party that they're associated with. So you are in some way, with every party release their manifesto also. So in some way, you are aligning towards their policies and ideology, and on that basis, you have selected a candidate. Now imagine that candidate is now leaving that particular political party and joining hands of the other against whom the majority casted votes. Now what is happening as a result of which? As a result of which your ideology is getting defeated. The reason why you gave vote to one person over other party, over other ideology, will get defeated, and that's why we are saying it will be defying the mandate of people, which will be anti democratic. It will be against democratic principles of the country. Anti democratic. So these are the issue associated with defection. Okay. So in case you have a question related to mains, you can list down these points and explain accordingly. Now, what are the provision of 10th schedule? See, 10th schedule says if a member of a party, if a member of a parliament or state legislature voluntarily give up the membership of its political party, or it vote against the whip. Now whip is a person, which a member of a legislature party which is selected by the party, who can, against whom you cannot vote. Okay. Now if the whip is saying that you have to vote yes, so you have to vote in favor of a bill. Okay. So you cannot voluntarily give up the membership, and you cannot go against the whip of a legislature party. So these are, if you are doing any of these two, that means it is acting as a defection. You are defecting your political party. So that is the point that you need to take care of. This is with respect to the provision. Another important thing, the other day we discussed about the legislature party and the political party. It is clearly saying the political party is the entire organization of party, including legislature, and legislature party is the party. It includes the member, which are MLAs or MPs from that particular party. Okay. That means if, say for example, there are 100 people in 100% in one political party. Okay. Now this is entire political party, all of them contested on certain seats, out of which 60 became MPs. Okay. And 40 lost their election. So now these people who are representing this particular party in the assembly, they are referred to as legislature party, and the entire political party is a political party. Say for example, BJP is a political party, Congress is a political party, but the member who are representing BJP or Congress in any of the parliament, maybe, or maybe some state legislature, so they are referred to a legislature party. So this is the distinction between the two. And Supreme Court also said the whip of the political party rules over the legislature party. Okay. So now, what are the exceptions to the disqualification? 10th schedule is providing two exceptions to disqualification. One is if one third of the people of the legislature party, okay, that means the people who were in the house, they decided to split from the main party. Now, this particular provision was also removed in 2003. So, this provision of split does not stand at present. Okay. The second provision is if two-thirds of the legislature party merge and join the other party, okay, the opposition party, then also you can escape the disqualification. In case there is a merger of more than two-thirds of the members of legislature party, you can escape the disqualification. Now, this is the exact same thing that happened in Maharashtra, where out of 55 people, 40 people defected, and the two-third amounts to 37, as a result of which these people could escape defection. So this was about your exceptions. Now, what is happening as a result of which the issues are such that people are using this particular route. You know, two-third of member, we have seen many instances where two-third of member have resigned, and they have declared, instead of merging to other party, they have declared themselves to be the real political party. In this way they could evade the chances of disqualification. This has happened in September in 2019 in Rajasthan, where all six Bahujan Samajwadi Party merged themselves with the Congress Party. Now, this is with respect to merger, and another is in 2000 September 22 in Goa, 8 out of 11 Congress MLA merged themselves with the BJP. These are the example of merger, and the one in Maharashtra is an example of declaring themselves as the real political party. Okay, so this is what is happening. And the third and the bigger issue is, see, generally what happens is the speaker is from the ruling party. Okay, so as a result of which, what happened, there are chances that there are chances of a sort of partiality or favoritism on the behalf of speaker as well. So that's why the question on the role of speaker have also been arisen in the recent past. So these are the issues which are involved with respect to the current defection law. So as per Supreme Court has suggested some of the reforms. Now let's see the reforms. So Supreme Court in KM Singh versus Speaker of Manipur in 2020 said that the parliament should amend the constitution, where it is saying that speaker is the final authority to give his opinion on disqualification case, and only in the extraordinary circumstances the case can land up in the courts. However, the Supreme Court has said in this particular case that you should have a separate independent tribunal who will decide the cases related to defection and not the speaker himself. The second thing is the Supreme Court has said in Sadiq Ali versus Election Commission of India 1971, it laid down the three principles on the basis of which you could determine that which party is the original party or which party is not the real party. And these principles are aims and objectives of the party, its affair as per the party constitution that reflect inner party democracy. That means you should constantly organize some sort of election which shows the faith in the inner party democracy. Okay, majority in the legislative and organization wings. So these are the three principles which are being laid down by the Supreme Court in 1971 to decide that which party is the real party or which party is not the real party. So this was about the 10th schedule. Now let's see the next topic, which is your National Center for Disease Control Survey. Now, what is the survey saying? The survey is saying out of the 13 hospitals in which the survey was conducted, that means the survey was conducted in 20 hospital, out of which 13 hospital they figure out that more than 70% of patients were given one antibiotic. Okay, and 25.3% were on two antibiotics and 13% or three antibiotics. So what, people go to hospital for treatment only na? So what is the harm in giving them antibiotics? See, the issue here is highlighting is with respect to antibiotic resistance. I'll put it antimicrobial resistance. Now what does this term means? What happened? Microbe mean any sort of pathogen, be it virus, be it fungi, be it bacteria, any sort of particle who's coming from outside if it is impacting your body, right? So to fight that, you tend to take some medicines, and those medicines are referred to as antimicrobial medicines. Now, what is the issue with these medicines as of now? See, the issue is if you are taking too many medicines, or if you are taking them without prescription. So if you are overdoing is overdose, wrong prescription, or over usage of drugs in your poultry farms or your cattles, along with if these things, if you are, and also the major reason is like people are not completing courses of these antimicrobial drugs. Due to all these, what happened, the bacteria or the virus or the fungi against which we have been taking medicines, they grow immunity to that particular antibiotics or antimicrobes, microbial drugs. So, and the reason behind it, they multiply, they mutate at a very faster pace. In coronavirus also, we saw that there were multiple variant which came within a span of 2 3 years. That means the virus was able to adapt and mutate itself, and that's why we were saying that it is very difficult to control the spread of such sort of viruses or bacteria, because they tend to develop immunity against the drug which is being prescribed to them. So, and the if you see the numbers, India is among the very few countries where AMR is high. Another thing is, according to WHO, it is directly the antimicrobial resistance is directly responsible for 1.27 million global deaths in 2019. Okay? And overall, it has contributed to 5 million deaths so far. So this is becoming a major threat at present, because these bacteria and virus are growing stronger as a result of mutation, because of the ineffective usage of the antimicrobial drugs. Okay, now WHO is has released has maintained two type of list. One is your watch list and another is reserve list. Watch list are broad spectrum antibiotics. Now, what are broad spectrum antibiotics? There are antibiotics, they are specific to against one particular bacteria or pathogen. Okay, now when you talk about broad spectrum, they can work on multiple bacteria, like they are effective against multiple species of bacteria or viruses maybe. Okay, so they are reserved for severe infections. Now, reserve list, they are the last choice antibiotics, and they are used to treat multi drug resistant infections like MDR, multi drug resistance. They are antibiotic of last choice. Okay, like with respect to RBI also, we say it's a lender of last resort, कि जब कुछ काम नहीं कर रहा है, जब कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है, तब आप आरबीआई के पास चले जाते हो. सिमिलरली, अगर कोई भी ड्रग, कोई भी मेडिसिन इफेक्ट नहीं कर रही है किसी को, then they come as a lender of last resort. Then you move to these drugs, and these drugs are given जब कोई भी बैक्टीरिया, वायरस, कुछ भी पैथोजन आपकी बॉडी में बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रांग हो गया और उसके अगेंस्ट देयर इज नो ड्रग विच इज इफेक्टिव, देन यू रिजॉर्ट टू दीज पावरफुल ड्रग्स. ओके, so they are used to treat multi drug resistance infections. Okay, now in the survey, it was highlighted that 57% of the antibiotics which were prescribed were belong to watch category, and 2% also belong to reserve category. Okay, so this was the report with respect to the survey. Now, let us see the initiative which are being taken by the government of India. Okay, so the government of India has launched national program on antimicrobial resistance. It is a sort of surveillance network that you will be creating in order to contain its spread. Then, AMR surveillance and research network to generate evidences and capture trends and patterns of drug resistance. This is again a research and surveillance network. Antibiotic stewardship program. It was initiated by ICMR as a pilot project across India to control misuse and overuse. So there are also presence of COX. That means fraudulent doctors or practitioners who have not had the degree but they are still working. So we, and their misuse by them, misuse in poultry farms, in your cattle farming, overuse in these department, and also with respect to by wrong prescriptions, as we discussed earlier. So also 40 FDCs, fixed dose combinations, were banned. Then another thing is red line campaign. It was launched in 2016 to discourage over the counter sale of antibiotics. You know that without prescription you cannot take, without proper prescription you cannot purchase the antibiotics from the pharmacy shops. So these were the initiative which are taken by the government. However, antimicrobial resistance is a big issue with respect to India. One, because it is a densely populated country. At the same time, there are very large misuse and unawareness among the people that they do not even complete their courses at the same time. So these are the two major issues with respect to antimicrobial resistance. Now let's see the next topic, which is your LED. See, this was the quote given in the paper. Incandescent light bulbs lit the 20th century. The 21st century will be lit by LED lamps. So we have, from the development of these light bulbs, presently we have switching to LED lamps. So what are these light emitting diodes? Light emitting diodes, LED, are of three types: red, green, and blue. But before we go into the details of these, let us first understand what is a diode. A diode is an electronic component which has 2 points of contact or terminals, anode or cathode, positive and negative sign. A diode is a primary purpose to allow current to flow in one direction only. It's unidirectional current by the flow of electrons from negative to positive. Now, an LED is a semiconductor device which emit light when electric current flows through it. It is a semiconductor. Okay. Now, it can produce all three primary colors as we discussed: red, green, and blue. Now, it was the discovery of gallium nitride which made possible the blue LED thing, and it was in 2014 that a Nobel Prize was also given for the discovery of blue LED. But the difficult part in this discovery was to generate crystals or crystal powders of gallium nitride. That was the most difficult part. However, it happened. Now let us see the advantages of LED. Advantages can, they are more efficient. They are about 80% more efficient than the fluorescent lamps and bulbs that we used to use in 20th century, and they have larger durability and light contrast. Because they are more efficient, it leads to cost saving as well as less material wastage. Then heat generation, they generate less light, little heat. So if some of you might know that what happened when you used to have those bulbs which used to generate that yellow light, they used to, with overheating, they used to blast sometimes in homes, if you have seen that. So this was because of larger heat generation. However, the heat generation in LEDs is less, and which make them safer to handle and more efficient. If you take up a LED which is being which is lit on for last like 1 hour, 1.5 hour or so, it will not be that warm as compared to a bulb. It will be more hot to handle. Okay, so and also the environmental impact is less because the energy efficiency and a longer lifespan, so the less waste also, and also reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Now see the applications. See, LEDs are applicable today. If you see your TV screens, computer screens, your mobile phones, electric lights, and then some LEDs are now also available. The skin, the advanced form, which is can be implanted in your skin as well. So household applications: smartphone, TV screen, signboards, feeding plant light in greenhouse, barcode scanners, monitoring air quality can also be embedded in the skin, and organic LED emit more lights. Okay, so these are the application. These points are important from your preliminary point of view. So make a note of it. And if you want to have PDF, you can download it from the uh, Telegram channel. So See, there is nothing much that you need to know about this, but this is a piece of information that you must know, that Iran has launched an airstrike inside Pakistan, targeted the bases because they thought that there are bases of this particular group, Jaish al-Adl, for the military group, okay, which they thought is residing in the border area of Pakistan. Okay, so they are saying that it is a Sunni militant group which largely operates across the border of Pakistan. Okay, so this is what in preliminary you can have a statement based question where they can ask about this, but it is less likely to be asked. Okay, but you must know with respect to the global or something that can be asked in your interviews. Now, another thing is Iran has attacked spy headquarter of Israel in Iraq semi-autonomous Kurdistan region. So this can be a question, a potential question for your preliminary exam. So if you see, this is your Iraq and this is your Erbil, where the has conducted, Iran has conducted airstrikes. This region, an Israeli headquarter is located in is located in Ibril. Israeli headquarters is located in Ibril, and this is where this falls under the Kurdistan region. And many a times UPSC has also asked in match the following questions, like consider the following pairs. Then they have given like Iraq, Kurdistan, or Kurdistan with with a different country name. So this is a potential question that can be asked again in UPSC. So you remember that whenever you see Kurdistan, it is related to Iran. Okay, so this was it for today. And if you have any other question in your mind, you may please ask in the comment section below. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.